director whose most avid admirers are as disparate in their views and background as Bruce Springsteen and Ronald Reagan must be an artist of considerable complexity. But the man is also America's most honored director, winner of 4 New York Film Critics Awards and 6 Oscars, the only picture maker ever to receive our nation's highest civilian honor, the Medal of Freedom. John Ford remains preeminent among the precious few American directors who can be called a poet. Over nearly 60 years, John Ford directed 136 pictures, more than half of them silent, which earned 72 Oscar nominations and won 23. He was responsible for creating not only the screen persona of several key stars, most prominently John Wayne and Henry Fonda, but an extraordinary number of America's favorite and most enduring pictures. His influence has also been remarkably wide-ranging. When Orson Welles was preparing his first film, Citizen Kane, he wanted to study a well-made picture, so he ran John Ford's Stagecoach 40 times.
Now, folks, if we push on, we can be in Apache Wells by sundown.
And Bruce Springsteen once told me he was inspired to create his trilogy of interconnecting rock albums, Born to Run, Darkness at the Edge of Town, and The River, because of John Ford's vivid cavalry trilogy of the 40s and early 50s, Fort Apache, Rio Grande, and She Wore a Yellow Ribbon.
Ford,
The man himself was, to put it mildly, formidable. He terrified stars as well as studio heads. On one picture, the studio sent an emissary to tell Ford he was 2 days behind schedule. "Oh," Ford said to the frightened man, "how many pages do we shoot a day?" "Oh, about 5, the man answered. Ford then counted out 10 pages from the script, ripped them out, and said, "Tell him we're back on schedule." In the late 60s, I did a documentary on Mr. Ford for the American Film Institute, which gave him their first Life Achievement Award. I asked him about his craft and art.
Mr. Ford, you made a picture called Three Bad Men, which was a large-scale Western. You had a quite elaborate land rush in it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you shoot that?
With a camera.
Mr. Ford, I've noticed that that your view of the West has become increasingly sad and melancholy over the years. I'm comparing, for instance, Wagon Master to The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Have you been aware of that change in mood?
No.
Now that I've pointed out, is there anything you'd like to say about it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Would you agree that the point of Fort Apache was that the tradition of the Army was more important than one individual?
Cut.
During all of World War II, though in his late 40s then, Ford was on active duty in the U.S. Navy. He was also involved in extensive undercover activities for the OSS. Decorated a number of times, went from lieutenant commander to a 2-star admiral, received the Purple Heart for injuries sustained during the Battle of Midway, which he photographed himself with a handheld camera.
This really happened.
For his first picture after the war, he received the highest salary ever paid a director then, $500,000, and he put it all up to pay for a recreation center in L.A. for veterans of his naval unit.
let's raise our glasses.
The film, They Were Expendable, remains the finest and most compassionate story of war ever to come from America, and it dealt with one of our greatest defeats in the Philippines. Among Ford's most often recurring themes is the glory in defeat. Ford and Katharine Hepburn had been in love in the 30s. They made one picture together, Mary of Scotland. But Ford was already an Irish Catholic father of 2, married to Mary Smith. Yet the friendship between Hepburn, Ford, and Ford's family remained close throughout the years. And in The Quiet Man, his most passionately romantic film, Maureen O'Hara's character is named after the 2 women Ford loved most, Mary Kate.
Hello, Mary Kate. Danaher.
Good morning, Sean Thornton.